Good afternoon, everyone. I'm P.J. Johnson. We are just moments away from a live news conference in Knoxville, Tennessee. You know, just when you thought the Tennessee Vols search for a new football coach might be nearing an end, there has been another twist.
Dunk City, that's Florida Gulf Coast. They're actually here as well this week. They played the late game tomorrow night, but ETSU, they're Jam City there for JC, and the Bucks were throwing down a lot of dunks during their open practice today.
The rumors started circulating on social media a few days ago and then really picked up steam last night. And today we can now confirm Randy Sanders is going to be the next head football coach at ETSU.
It's a rematch of the ACC Championship, number 12 Virginia Tech versus number 2 Clemson. What more can he ask for on a Saturday night here in Blacksburg?
We have waited since December to see Tennessee play a football game. It is finally here in just under 2 hours.
And we have more questions now than we did then because we don't know who's going to play quarterback for either team. Both teams are dealing with some injuries and some suspensions. There's a lot of question marks, Casey.
It's Mike Lucas. He's at David Crockett High School where the Pioneers play Tennessee High tonight for a bizarre week in Jonesboro. Heather Williams, she's in Elizabethton, where we have one of the games of the year between Elizabethton and Greenville. One final race. One last chance to conquer the last great Coliseum.
Going to the night race at Bristol was one of my favorite races to go to as a kid. I'm glad I've got a trophy from that racetrack.
But as Junior takes his final bow at Bristol Motor Speedway, a new crop of young gladiators are fighting to steal part of the spotlight.
But I'm going to go do my thing, and if I have an opportunity to pass a guy and do it the right way, then I'm going to try my best to do it.
Winning here is special because
Bristol, baby.
No one has been able to keep up with Kyle Busch this weekend. He sat on the pole, won both stages, and won the Truck Series race on Wednesday. Again tonight, he started on the pole and would try to go for the sweep again.
Welcome into Bristol Motor Speedway. How about that kind of race there? Casey gets alongside P.J. Johnson. Kyle Busch, P.J., sweeps the trifecta for the second time in his career. He did it in 2010, wins the truck race, wins the Xfinity race, wins the Cup race. 2010, 2017, not much has changed for Kyle Busch. We're going to go to Heather Williams live in Victory Lane. Heather, take it away.
Seemed kind of racy out there. A lot of guys were up there in jockey position. How did it feel from your youth?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I thought there was a really good race. The stages kind of played into it a little bit.
All right, thank you so much. That is Kyle Busch, winner of the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race. He sweeps the weekend here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Big weekend for him at Bristol, guys. Getting the backs right in Daytona Beach at the Kansas Speedway and at the Kentucky Speedway. In Martinsville, Heather Williams, News 5, WCYB.
The NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals just wrapping up moments ago, a little behind schedule because of some rain. But after the first and second round, everything was okay.
I don't want to let you go unless we talk about this. This is what we got from Bristol. Talk about this gift. Are you a golfer?
With one tweet, James Mitchell made 5 fan bases very happy. The rising senior at Union High School announcing on Twitter that Duke, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia Tech are his final 5. Shortly after making the announcement, I sat down with Mitchell to talk about his decision, the schools, and when he will make a final decision. I was also curious to see what Mitchell thought about each school individually, so we played a little word association game with each school, beginning with Duke.
Good education, very laid back. The coaching staff's very laid back.
Georgia.
Big time SEC football, big tradition.
South Carolina.
Once again, SEC football. They got some great after football programs down there too.
Tennessee.
Rocky Top.
And Virginia Tech.
Kind of like hometown school, I guess, being Southwest Virginia.
Now, in some ways, the hard part is just beginning for Mitchell. Another decision awaits in the future when the list goes from 5 to 1. It's a decision that won't be made anytime soon.
Some of the schools don't allow, well, they don't do official visits until December, so, and then with us probably in the playoffs, so it probably won't be till January, I'd say.
In the fall of 2018, I decided I will be going to school at Virginia Tech.
The game everyone's talking about is at Bullitt Park, the 2A Region Championship game, 11-1 Graham visiting 12-0 Union.
Hello, Union. Union people have had a great fun with me this year in my ineptitude at picking games against the Bears.
Sports on location from Big Stone Gap, site of the premier game in Southwest Virginia tonight.
The two biggest games of the year so far were both tonight.
Yeah, great games, a lot of fun, and a little bit of a twist in both of them for sure.
Absolutely. Hello, Facebook friends. Casey Getz alongside Heather Williams. Got our Friday Night Huddle recap here. Just 4 games on the schedule tonight. Heather, we had 2 awesome games and 2 blowouts.
Yeah, and I just happened to be at one of the blowouts.
The Wise Central girls lost to Martinsville in the regional semifinals by 15 points, but they were able to regroup, make some adjustments, and beat them by 16 when it counted in the state championship game.
The South Green Lady Rebels basketball team will take the court here in Murfreesboro trying to defend their Group A state championship.
Now, no public school in Virginia has ever won 20 state titles in any sport. The Golden Wave up by 45.5 points going into tomorrow's action. 7 of Grundy's 10 wrestlers at the state tournament will wrestle for state gold tomorrow in Salem.
After 7 straight trips to the Spring Fling, the Greenville boys soccer team can finally call themselves state champions.
The Vikings won their 4th straight state title today in Murfreesboro. Ravenwood was the victim this time of Tennessee High as they made it 4 in a row. Greenville made their first trip to Cookeville since 2011. The Green Devils going for their 3rd state title, and Greenville did not waste any time. They put up 40 points in the first half, which is a state record. Since the final whistle blew on Greenville's loss last season to Knox Central, the Green Devils have had one thing on their mind.
We've been working since the beginning of summer for this, and we have an opportunity. We got to go capitalize on it Friday.
Greenville takes on Springfield for the Class 4A state championship, something this group has been dreaming about for a long time.
We've all been playing together since middle school, and that's what we've dreamed of. And now that we're finally here, it's just a dream come true. Now we've got to live it out.
The time is finally here. Greenville has reached its destination, exit 286. Sometimes it's hard for people around the program to believe. It's been 47 years since the Chilhowie football team last played for a state championship.
It's not like Chilhowie has been down for 47 years. We've had good football teams. I mean, we're known as a football school.
But the 1970 championship squad marks the last time the Warriors have played this late into the season.
Like, whoa, since 1970, it's just exciting town. The whole town's excited to watch us play.
Still, getting here isn't enough. They want another state title to go with the one the school won 47 years ago.
I feel like Chilhowie's a pretty strong football program, but for the big one to elude us that long, yeah, it's time.
Saturday is when Chilhowie will finish their journey down the Warriors' path. It really seemed like this was not a matter of if, but when, and when ended up being today.
Yeah, I don't think any Vols fans are really surprised by this news. Maybe the timing a little bit, because once you kind of got past the Alabama game, you thought, well, maybe he'd ride it out through the end of the year. The athletic department offices here at the University of Tennessee sit right at the corner of Lake Loudon and Philip Fulmer Way. And as the search for a new head coach got messier and messier, fans began to call for their former national championship head coach to come back and lead the athletic department instead of John Curry.
When we got to campus today, everyone was walking around with their heads down, kind of moping around, a far cry from the exuberant campus we expected to step into today.
Welcome back to Freedom Hall. Casey Getz here. ETSU getting ready for their home opener tonight against Delaware State, the reigning SoCon champs, back here in Freedom Hall. ETSU played their first 3 games on the road, went 1-2, losses in Northern Kentucky and Kentucky, most recently sandwiched between a win at Savannah State.
It was a disappointing way to end the season. The Bucks came back from a 20-point deficit but could not close the deal and fall to Samford 67-64.
We only had 3 games this weekend that featured 2 ranked teams. We had Florida versus Michigan, Alabama versus Florida State, and then there was this game, Virginia Tech versus West Virginia.
How about this stat? Tennessee, their last 2 home games, 0 touchdowns against Georgia and South Carolina combined. And it gets no easier next week. Tennessee goes on the road to play #1 Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
A win is a win, and 27-0 may seem like a dominating result, but nobody on Tech is pleased with the offense's performance.
The ETSU volleyball team wrapped up its place in the NCAA tournament last week, but they had to wait until tonight to find out who and where they would play. The Bucks are headed to face number 4 seeded Kentucky on their home court this Friday.
The Bucks never reached the NCAA tournament in the program's 17-year history. Well, they hadn't until today. Let's take a look at how it happened.
A puzzle can be a challenge. It can also be mysterious. For those living with autism, a puzzle piece is the symbol for behaviors we as a society are just starting to understand.
It's a spectrum disorder, and it manifests itself in different ways.
Putting all the pieces together can at times be challenging. For Virginia High's Dante Van Wy, those pieces started to fit together through athletics. Despite challenges that would have most people sitting on the sidelines, Dante has become one of the top athletes in the Bearcats senior class. How many times have you qualified for state?
I've qualified 4 years of swimming. I've qualified 1 year of cross country, and I've also qualified for 2 years of track.
Dante started running in the 7th grade, and while many ask why, he asks why not.
I was like, maybe I'll just take running, and swimming is my ability,
He, as a runner, functions just like any other athlete. I mean, there's, you do notice some things on occasion, but for the most part, he works out like everybody else. He interacts with everybody else like everybody else.
Except he's faster than most everyone else. Dante and his teammates are preparing for the state track meet, where he will run the 4x800 meter relay, something many might think is an amazing accomplishment for somebody with autism. But for those who run next to him, they aren't surprised.
Dante's the ideal teammate. This man is probably the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. He's always bringing a positive energy to anything. I mean, he really is the greatest teammate of all time.
He is very, very easy to coach. He's a hard worker. It hasn't really, at least as far as I know, played a role.
That's why for Dante, his success is not puzzling at all.
I just chose to do it because I think God called for me to do this.
In January, Matt Hagan's 33-year-old brother Kyle died from an apparent brain aneurysm.
He went to sleep and never woke up.
Less than a month earlier, his paternal grandfather passed away as well.
It puts things in perspective, and you take every day and you don't take it for granted because you know that you're blessed every day that you get to wake up and drive one of these race cars at 338 miles an hour.
His family, especially his brother, are always with him under the car.
I had a portrait done up of my brother on the back of my helmet, and just kind of knowing that, we're always thinking about him and he's not forgotten.
2017 has been arguably Hagan's best season to date, winning 3 of the first 11 races of the season. But the Christiansburg, Virginia native will be racing for more than just points at the Bristol Dragway on Father's Day.
I'd love nothing more than to win in front of my dad and, kind of give him a little special moment, excuse me, with my brother and stuff like that. Get a little choked up, still emotional talking about it, but, it'd be really cool this year to win on Father's Day.
Mac McClung had over 30 scholarship offers, but only one was from a Power 5 school. Rutgers, out of the Big Ten, got a new coach last year in Steve Peichel. And as a former point guard himself, Peichel offered McClung an opportunity to play big-time college basketball and try to help build a program into a contender.
I always love being the underdog, so, I'm looking forward to making people change their minds about Rutgers basketball.
Before McClung heads up to Rutgers, he has one more year of high school left. Many wondered if he would remain at Gate City or transfer to a prep school.
There was definitely some schools that contacted me, but I knew, this just has that home feeling. I love the culture, I love the community, so I wanted to stay.
McClung led Gate City to the state quarterfinals last year, and in his final year with the Blue Devils, he'd like nothing more than to give Gate City its first state title in boys basketball.
It would mean everything, just to make history here, and I believe the community deserves it, so we're really going to give it our all.
There was just one last thing I needed to do with McClung before we ended our visit. I'm challenging him to a dunk contest. Mac, do you accept?
I accept. Let's go.
All right, as the challenger, I went first. I'm going to say, Mac, I don't think I did too bad of a job. What do you think?
It was good, but I'm not going to use the 8-foot hoop.
Well, I think it's safe to say Mac won. Getting the facts right in Gate City, Casey Getz, News 5, WCYB.